ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, the 4th chapter, known as the chapter on Jnana Yoga. And we were in a section where, as I have told you, and kindly pardon me to be being repetitive, it is very archaic, prosaic, and not very easily understandable because it was mentioned in a time, it was about 5,000 years ago, the society had these values uppermost in their mind. Today we have moved out so far away from those way of life that it is very difficult and is very, I would say, pardon my words, we think it is obsolete. But the procedure and methodology remains the same because it is meant for a human being to improve the quality of his egocentric personality. That never gets old, that never gets obsolete, archaic or prosaic. The methods keep on changing, whereas the goal remains the same. Now, how it has been said in previous shlokas in an omnibus manner that how can our life, the flow of life, be converted into a certain type of activity known as yajna, whereby the human personality, with all its faults and foibles, failures and frailties, this human personality evolves into its true original nature, the divine. That is the perennial goal of a human being, provided the human being has understood it, has accepted it, and has determined himself that I will follow this path. Adhikari, that is the precondition or prerequisite. So in an omnibus manner, we have heard in the previous but one shloka previous to the last, Brahmarpanam Brahmavi and etc. etc. And then they say there are two types in general now. Now the particular will start later on. Look, there are people who perform yajna, a sacrifice in a fire. Let us now be very, very symbolic and understand the symbol behind what is being suggested by being symbolic. What is that? That is knowledge of my true original nature, Atma Jnanam or Brahma Jnanam, is the knowledge of my true original nature. That knowledge is compared as fire. And in performance of yajna, what do? All the things that we have created by the sweat of our brow, on which we have an affinity and attachment, we take that and offer it to the fire to please the natural forces in nature, deified in Indian philosophy as gods and goddesses. But we are offering into the fire, and the fire burns away all the dirt and dross. So the integrated overall attitude is that my life is flowing and endless diverse types of activities are being performed. Now the theme is you continue with your flow of life, but as a pursuer of perfection, thoroughness, correctness and excellence, do things perfectly, correctly, thoroughly, excellently, and then offer it to the divine, who is the burning fire within you and everywhere. The divine is everywhere, and it is ready to burn away all our dirt and dross. That is the main theme, which was applicable in that day. It is applicable in this day. Now, in the values and the important ideas that were quite afloat at that time of society, in that idea, with that idea, the Gita will recite a few shlokas where various aspects of our flow of life is being broken up. And each activity is equated with a yajna. You offer that in the fire of knowledge, Atma Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam. This is the main theme, dear. As far as the details are concerned, please read the exhaustive translations and a little notation that you have in your books, Sridharanandaji's Gita or any other authentic Gita. If you read, they will highlight what is the aspect. I am here for the last several discourses to give you the overall concept that life is an endless flow of activity. And those activities are infinitely diverse. And each and every one of that diverse activity can be converted into a yajna by my attitudinal correction. How I correct my attitude and do it with that attitude. What is that attitude? The attitude is my whole life is nothing else but a yajna, a sacrifice in a burning fire. What is that fire? That fire of knowledge, knowledge of my true original nature. Attitudinally, I must be aware of that, and I try to get rid of all the attachments and involvements that stops me from identifying myself with my true original nature. I burn those out in the fire of knowledge. This is it. So now I will go through these few shlokas and stop where a new idea will start. It is a subsection of a section of the Gita, the 4th chapter, known as Jnana Yoga. How the constant awareness of oneness with the divine is compared to a burning, blazing fire, and how through the activities of my life I keep on burning away all these attachments and misconceptions and involvement in that fire, and I slowly and slowly experience the answer to the pertinent question, who am I? Ko aham asmi, ayam atma brahma. I ask my Guru, who am I? Ko aham asmi. And Guru says, Tattvamasi, thou art that. You are that absolute. And all these procedures of burning away my dirt and dross is nothing but a procedure of purifying myself through that fire of knowledge, burn all away my dirt and dross, and then I come to know, come to experience in response to Guru's statement, Tattvam Asi, I come to experience, I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. And that is the end all and be all of this pursuit. So we have read the 26th shloka dear. Now, as I told you, I will hurriedly go through these shlokas, and you always remember the symbolic meaning of these shlokas are nothing else but how I can burn away the dirt and dross that covers my understanding, and I do not know my true original nature. This is a procedure of burning away your dirt and dross, and you are one with the divine. So, allow me to now go rapidly through these few methodologies. Shloka number 27. Sarvani indriya karmani prana karmani cha apare atsam atma sanjama yogagno juhati jnana dipite. Now listen, let me go to the word-to-word meaning and the meaning of the sentence. And you remember the purpose of this shloka, the methodology, the procedure, which was very common at that stage. You can practice it at this stage, but the overall concept of a karma yogi, Brahmarpanam karma yoga, is the best methodology of this era, of this age, as Swami Vivekananda, guided by his greeter Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother, has enunciated for all of us. Let it now be sectionally understood. Sarvani indriya karmani. Indriya are the sense organs. Sarvani, all inclusive. No exclusion. Indriya karma. We have Pancha Indriya. They have 5 different objects and they go and interact with it, with the mind, and the light of knowledge keeps on reflecting itself. I know, I know, I know, I know. Sarvani indriya karmani prana karmani chapare, and the others. Apare means of whole lot of humans. Some of them. Apare, groups. What does it mean? That's not a martial law you have to follow. According to your temperament, according to your past karma, according to your prarabdha, some of these ideas will click to you because of your past karma, and you will go for it. Sarvani, Indriya Karmani, and Prana Karmani. Prana Karmani, prana is the source of activity. All your activities in flow of life. Atma Sanjama Yogagno Juhati Jnana Deepite. Atma Sanjama Roop Yoga Agni. Atma Sanjama Yoga Roop Agni. Wow, what is that? Atma Sanjama. Self-restraint. What is that? In the Yoga Sutra we have read Pratyahara. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. The procedure. Atma Sanjama Yoga Agni means Prati Aharanam. What does it mean? Don't look towards worldly returns. Don't look towards worldly expectations. Please kindly concentrate your attention. I am restraining, constraining, disciplining myself with a devoted, dedicated, determined effort not to be involved in the world, but to be aware of the presence of the divine every moment of my life. Atma Jnana Deepite. So you see now, it is being spoken in a prosaic language, which is really something very difficult. But the actual goal is, you live in this world. Let your life flow. Let your sense organs work. Let it be natural, normal. There's only one point of correction which the teacher tells you. Don't get involved with the expectations from this world. All the world can offer you because cause and its effect, karma and karana, karana and karya, an infallible relationship. So, what do? You offer it to the divine by being aware of the presence of the divine. And, oh dear Lord, I live for Thee and Thee alone. I have no other activity. I have no other desire. All that my flow of life leads me to is being offered to you so that I may be aware of my true original nature. This is the meaning of the shloka Sarvani Indriya Karmani Prana Karmani Chapare Atma Sanjama Yogagno Atma Sanjama Yogagno Juhati Jnana Deepite. He who is constantly aware of presence of God, he offers it to God through Atma Sanjama Yoga Rup Agni. This is how you must understand the actual meaning, the lakshartha of this verse. Let us move to the next one, shloka number 28. What does it say? Drabya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajnas tatha pare. Other people, they perform the same type of cleansing oneself, purifying my human egocentric personality by burning away all the dirt and dross, by burning through fire. It may be drabya yajna, it may be tapa yajna, it may be yoga yajna. And swadhyaya jnana yajnasya yataya sansita brata. Yataya is plural of yati. Yati means a person whose life's ambition, life's goal, life's determination is to be self-controlled. Self-controlled means bringing it back from the outer world, place it in the constant awareness of presence of the divine. Now, there are some people who are involved in drabya yajna. They are not that enlightened. They offer all they have grown by the sweat of their brow, by their toil and hard labor. They offer to the 5 principles of nature, known as gods, Indriya, Varuna, and etc., appeasing them, worshipping them, respecting them, with the expectation they will be favorably disposed towards them. Drabya yajna. But they are offering everything to God. The awareness of the presence of God is during that yajna period only. Tapo yajna. There are so many types of tapasya. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana. All of these are self-control, self-restraint, self-management. That is tapasya. What does it mean? I am burning. Attitudinal correction. Attitudinally, I am prone to, I am used to, I am habituated to expect return of my activities in the form of pleasures that the world and the sense organs and active organs offer you. I'm prone to that. I refuse to think on those lines. I will restrain myself, and my whole being rotates around 24/7, oblique 365, my whole life, awareness of presence of the divine, restraining. Tapo yajna. Dravya-jagya, Tapo-jagya, Yoga-jagya. Here Yoga-jagya means all that has been mentioned in Patanjali's Sadhana Pada. Those are all disciplined methods to be followed. Why? To achieve Kaivalya Mukti or Asampragyata Samadhi. We will come to that when that stage arises in this study at the end of the Gita. Dravya-jagya, Tapo-jagya, Yoga-jagya. These are the varieties of disciplined, determined, devoted performance. Materialistic, psychiatric, and otherwise. You do so. And there's another type of yajna. Swadhyaya jnana jagyasya. Swadhyaya means adhyayana. What is adhyayana? To read. Literal meaning is to read. And what is the suggestive meaning? Lakshartha. I read. I expose myself to certain ideas through my reading. And then I try to assimilate those ideas. And when I assimilate, I reproduce them in my behavior pattern. Total transformation of my personality. That is Swadhyaya as far as Lakshartha of the word is concerned. Self-educational process. And Jnana Jagyasya. And to be always alert. I am that. I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. Jataya, this is meant for yatis, the sannyasis. Sangsita Brataha. What is Sangsita Brataha? Samyak Sangsodhita Sangsita. Samyak in totality. And Sita is Sangsodhita. That is total correction. And that attitude of total correction of my attitude is Sangsita Brata. Who are they? The sannyasis, the whole-timers. We leave our hearth and home and all duties and etc., etc., etc. Why? For the love of God, to be one with Him. What is the procedure? Convert your life into an endless yajna. All the dirt and dross through your activities with your physical, mental, that is emotional, rational, egoistic, all types of activities. They are in totality burnt clean. With that attitude, you perform Jnana Yajna. I am Atma Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. This continuing awareness, and not only awareness, assimilation of that idea and your body language and behavior pattern will follow that. No attraction or attachment to the body itself. Let it run its course. Let prarabdha run its course. I am not going to fear. I am not going to react. I will just watch and see as an eternal witness, Shakshi Swarupata, Drashta Swarupata. That is Jnana Brata, Jnana Yajna. So now he says, you have seen the word operate. Mind you, all these prescriptions are only meant for those people who need this. It is not a universally applicable thing. That is why he is mentioning it through so many avenues. Let us see what is the 29th shloka saying. What aspect of yajna? 29th shloka. Apane juhati pranam. Prane apanam tatha pare. Prana pana gati ruddhva pranayama parayana. Apare niyata ahara. Pranan praneshu juhati. Now, my breathing is an involuntary bodily activity. Involuntary bodily activity is inhaling and exhaling. Now, let us try to explain in a modern language. Medical sciences say that oxygen is the fuel of the whole body system. Without oxygen, the body doesn't work. Oxygen is the fuel to this activity. Where do I get my oxygen from? I inhale air, where majority percentage is nitrogen and a limited percent in oxygen. And that oxygen, when I inhale, my lungs absorbs that oxygen and takes it into the bloodstream, and the oxygen in the blood is the fuel of the whole body activity. And then I exhale. Inhalation is apana-vayu, exhalation is prana-vayu. Now, the rishis of the past, and Maharishi Patanjali especially, has studied this technique completely and totally. What does he say? You inhale, you hold for a while, and you exhale slowly. That will calm down the restlessness of your mind. Now, I will give you an example. You are running, and your breathing is much, much, much faster than your normal breathing. Breathing lying down, breathing sitting, breathing walking, breathing running. Your body activity is from 0 to 100%. And you see, you breathe faster. That means you need more fuel from your body. Now, the theory of yoga is, pranayama is, the basic theory. What is that? If I can balance without dying, if I can balance my intake of oxygen, retention of oxygen, and throwing away the carbon dioxide, used up oxygen. If I can balance it in such a manner, I can control the activity of my mind by controlling the intake of oxygen. That is the catch. So once somebody tells you, please practice pranayama before meditating on God. What does it mean? It means you are excited with the world and you have been reacting with the world for say 20 hours. Or let us say 18 hours. 6 hours you sleep. You wake up from sleep when you are absolutely at rest. Then you practice pranayama. Consciously, you are slowing down the fuel intake. Therefore, you are slowing down the activity. And because you are sitting like a statue, no bodily activity, the restless of the mind does not have oxygen enough to run around here and there. Rechak, Purak, Kumbhak, and so on and so forth. The main theme is the activity of this human mechanism, fuel being the source of activity, you are willfully controlling that fuel intake in such a manner that you are always calm, cool, poised, serene. But it is such a subtle science. If you don't have a teacher who has perfected it himself or herself, if you don't have a teacher, if you want to do it yourself, what will happen is, the medical sciences say 75% of the oxygen in your bloodstream is utilized by your brain, the main engine of your body. Digestion, etc., is far low. The main consumer of oxygen is in the body. Pranayama teaches you how to perform that exercise in such a manner your brain is not starved of oxygen, the body may be starved. And I have seen in my lifetime as a Swami in this organization, I've seen 3 of them who did not listen to their guru's instructions, wanted to attain Brahmajnanam immediately through the process of pranayama. And all the 3 became insane, absolute, totally mad. So, these ideas has to be taken to that extent where I learn it thoroughly and I perform it correctly to such an extent that my brain is not starved of oxygen. That is why Sri Ramakrishna said, Kalite Manusher Annagata Pran Oder esab korar darkar nei. What did he say? In the present world, we are mad after earning our bread. Our livelihood takes away all our energy. With this madness in which we live, it is not required. Jnana Mishra Bhakti Prashasta. Bhakti is devotion enlightened or buffeted by jnana, knowledge, which is karma yoga. And one of our brilliant Swamis, Swami Madhavanandaji, a long-standing General Secretary and also our President, he explained to me one day, the Shalil, don't be carried away by the word karma. Karma yoga is an integration of all four yogas. My eyes popped off. There's Jnana yoga separate, Bhakti yoga separate, Raja yoga separate, Karma yoga separate. It's in the Gita, in all our Prakaran Grantha. How does it say that Karma yoga is an integrated of all four together? So I very politely asked him, Sir, I don't understand you. Could you explain? And he did explain to me, and let me share with you how precise the understanding was. In Karma Yoga, the first and foremost precondition is you must be convinced there is nothing but the divine everywhere. And that is how you'll perform your Yajna, Karma Yoga, with the awareness of divine everywhere. Jnana Yoga is a precondition to become a Karma Yogi. Then, if you don't have that emotional involvement with that so-called unseen presence of the divine, He's me, He's mine, and I'll be His, I'll merge into Him. Emotional aspect of bhakti. If you don't have that, how will you perform your duties of life perfectly, correctly, thoroughly, excellently, so that you can offer it to your beloved God? Without that emotion, how can you do Karma Yoga? So, like Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is a necessary precondition to become a Karma Yogi. And finally, dear, Raja Yoga, control on the movement of your mind, your sense organs. If you are not a devoted, dedicated, determined disciplinarian, if you don't have these, that tremendous willpower, that I am not going to see anything else, this is my goal. That is yoga, that is Raja Yoga. To develop that determination through Bhakti, Jnana, Raja Yoga, then only you can be a good Karma Yogi. So when we say that Sri Ramakrishna Vivekananda of the modern age has given us on a plate the integrated varieties of yogas on a platter, convert your life into a karma yoga. Yataya sangsita vrata jnana tapasa puta. You have to have jnana, you have to have bhakti, you have to have concept of Raja Yoga, then only you can be a perfect karma yoga. I'm sorry, dear, I have moved away from a little of this study, but our goal is to make ourselves a better specimen of a human being. And whenever we have an occasion to see practically how it could be performed and done and observed, I will not spare myself, to the great disgust of yours probably, being so repetitive. But I will not spare myself to share with you these gems of wisdom from realized soul. To be a karma yogi, as the Gita says, through these shlokas, every aspect of Jnana Yoga, every aspect of Bhakti Yoga, every aspect of Raja Yoga are necessary precondition, inviolable precondition, indispensable precondition to be a perfect karma yogi. So, dears, we have now covered shloka number 29 through Lakshartha. As far as Bhakyartha is concerned, please go through the English translations. I have nothing to say. Apane juhati pranam, prane apanam juhati, pranapanam gatirudva, pranayama parayana, apare niyata ahara, aharyate iti ahara. That is, whatever you accept through your 5 sense organs and 5 active organs. Not only eating, absorbing idea is also ahara. Aharyate, aharanam karti, aharanam karoti, aharyate. Whatever you absorb and assimilate is your food. And in English we have an idiom, food for thought. Food for your brain. They are all foods. So, he says, apare niyatahara pranan praneshu johati. This is shloka number 29. Let us stop here today, dear. We will study the next shloka, and we are now coming to the close of these varieties of expressions of Sri Krishna. And then he concludes that, look, you will only be able to achieve that. Shraddhavan lavate jnanam tatpara sanjatendriya. You have to look after yourself. You have to mend yourself. You have to re-educate yourself with deep, abiding respect for the goal. I want nothing else but. Then you will find your guru to help you. Anyway, dears, let us stop here. We start from the shloka number 30 during our next discourse. Thank you, dears. So we have 4 more. Yeah. Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Thank you, dears. Thank you.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.